Set Phasers, a highly illogical Star Trek podcast.
Hello, Aki.
Well, hello, Stevie.
Dare I ask how you are?
I couldn't be more marvelous than I am right now.
Uh-huh.
Truly feeling great.
You have the COVID.
I do, but
Oh.
I still feel wonderful about it.
Okay, well, dear listeners, we will let you know how he does and when he miraculously recovers,
In 10 days' time.
hopefully before Christmas.
No, it will not happen before.
Oh no, so are you not going to see people for Christmas?
No, I won't.
Oh, Aki, I hadn't even thought of that.
Well,
I know, you hate Christmas anyway.
I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I have a Christmas tree behind me right now. I don't know what you mean by that.
Well, I know, but you hate Christmas?
No, I love Christmas.
Do you?
Yeah, exactly.
You do not. That's not even your tree.
Well, it's a tree that I put on. Didn't have to plug it in.
Okay, fine.
I could have left it off in the dark.
Ugh.
Yeah, I am perfectly fine with Christmas. Maybe not all the shopping and everything, but I'll be spending this Christmas watching Christmas movies by myself.
Yeah. Well, I love that. I have yet to show my wife a ton of Christmas movies, so perhaps we can watch party with you.
Let's watch party some Christmas movies. It sounds fantastic.
Yes. It's a shame there's not like a Trek Christmas movie. That would be good.
Is that true?
I don't believe there is. I could be wrong.
Yeah, probably not. Probably there's no Trek Christmas. That wouldn't even make sense. They don't celebrate Christmas in Star Trek. But we celebrate Star Trek on Set Phasers, and today's episode stardate is
1451218.3,
and we're discussing Star Trek Discovery Season 4, Episode 5, The Examples.
Mm-hmm.
The Examples. But before we get into that, we have to remind everyone about the Patreon.
Yes, we do. We have a Patreon. If you want to subscribe to our Patreon, you can do so at setphasers.com. Oh, that's not right. At patreon.com/setphasers, where you can watch Aki dancing in the intro. You can join us for, they previously were Netflix watch parties. They might be on a different platform now. You will get early access to the audio episodes, and you'll get to watch the live streamed episodes as we do them, like we're doing right now. Oh my goodness, that's so exciting. That's patreon.com/setphasers. And Aki, did you know our website is up and running?
You mean the website that is setphaserspod.com?
Yes, at phaserspodcast.com. You can leave us a voice note if you want us to play it out on the show. You can also buy some merchandise. Currently, we have a beautiful Set Phasers mug with our mugs on it for sale at the very affordable price of $11 plus tax and shipping. That's setphaserspodcast.com.
$11?
Yeah.
That's pretty solid.
It is.
That's a pretty solid deal right there.
Yep. One of my family members is going to get one for Christmas because I had to do a test order. So some lucky family member is going to get one. That's a bit weird. Here's a mug with my face on it. Happy Christmas.
That doesn't seem... Hey, you know how I feel about mugs with my face on
I
them.
do.
I love that for everyone else, but I cannot be... I can't be party to it. I can't drink out of my own face.
Fair.
No, and I don't think anyone should have to. Well, we should probably get into this episode. This was a crazy episode. I feel like it is the beginning of a new arc, but let's run it down.
Let's run it down.
It's time to run it down.
Can you run it down for me? Tell me what just happened. Can you run it down for me?
Well,
Well,
a normal day on the Star Trek Discovery. But there's people like let's get away from Discovery for a second. I forgot that there's this cold open that happens where these other ships are watching the anomaly, and it does some kind of weird power buildup, and then as they're watching it, it completely disappears.
Mm-hmm.
And Stamets is watching it on his instruments on Discovery, and Jet Reno is there, and they're like, whoa, where did it go? This 5 light years across anomaly just disappeared out of nowhere. 4 seconds later, it reappears 1,000 light years away. So now they're realizing that this anomaly, this the DMA, the dark matter anomaly, may not be just a primordial black hole or a primordial wormhole or some kind of weird natural thing that they need to be worried about. It seems like the chances of this happening, of this thing disappearing and showing up again, are so limited, so small, that it's much more likely that this has been engineered, created, and is being controlled, which leads us to the concern for today's episode, which is how do we figure out if it's being controlled, how it's being controlled, and what that will mean. There's also the idea that the anomaly is moving towards this small settlement that used to be in chain territory, and this is a weird thing, it may hit it, but it may not hit it, but they need to get there and evacuate everyone before it possibly could hit, and they won't know until it actually gets there if it's going to hit. Anyway, Discovery is tasked with those 2 jobs. 1, go to this former Emerald Chain place, which is called like Cadvac or something. I forget. I wrote it down and I'll probably see it later. And evacuate these people before the anomaly comes and eats their solar system. And 2, try to figure out if this thing is artificial. How was it made? How does it work? Who made it? Who controlled it? Apparently, the Federation has some possible contenders who they think their technological advancement might be high enough, but they're basically sending on this cat Ruon Tarka.
Yes.
Tarka to work with Paul Stamets. I would say it's pretty evident when Stamets hears just the name Tarka that he already dislikes him. Apparently Tarka is the one working on the 2nd generation spore drive and has never reached out to Stamets directly. And so there's a little anger there.
Heckles go up.
The hackles go way, way, way up. In fact, I think Stamets tries to express that he thinks he has all the people he needs to keep working on it. And then Admiral Vance is like, this is the guy we're going to use. He's one of the smartest people in our Federation. I mean, is he Federation or is he just like because he's also working with Aurelia, who was the chain scientist, right?
Yes.
So I don't know. Anyway.
I don't recall.
So this guy's going to come on board. He's going to work with Stamets on trying to figure out what's going on with the DMA. Discovery's going to fly over to this planet and try to save somebody. It's Radvec 5. There you go. See, I wrote it down in my notes. Book also wants to help save the people of Radvec 5 because he's kind of chomping at the bit. He's got this cabin fever because now he knows that this might be something artificial. It means someone deliberately destroyed his planet for lack of a better understanding of it. And so now he's like, can I help with this evacuation process? So they get to this planet, Radvec 5. They talk to the local sovereign magistrate. Even though these people are not Federation, they're going to help these people out because they're out of ships. And there's like 1,200 people still on there. And they got 4 hours to get everyone up there. And the transport only gets 40 people in a go. And so it's going to take a little time to get it all done. Commander Reese wants to lead the evacuation. And there is this one section of the planet towards the northern poles that has 6 people. Everyone else is evacuating to the evacuation centers, but there's 6 people who are not moving at all. And they find out from the local magistrate that these people are called the Examples. This is an old Emerald Chain tradition of taking a handful of lawbreakers, whatever law they have broken, and performatively, essentially, incarcerating them so that they can serve as an example for what would happen if you break the law. And the magistrate is fairly callous as to getting them out. He says the people that used to run the system have probably already gone. Also, they're criminals, so there's no reason for the Federation to work on getting them out. Plus, they have law-abiding citizens. They want to get off the planet. So Michael makes the executive decision. Reese is going to go down and evacuate the civilians and all the regular people, and she and Book are going to go stage a jailbreak in order to get these examples out of example prison. Stamets meets Tarka. Ooh, Tarka's like, he comes onto the bridge and he's like all dressed in black. He's all, hey, boom, 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 I'm the coolest. Your ship is old and Saru's feet are weird and I'm cool. Seems like a celebrity chef to me. You know what I mean? He's like, he would come there on like a fucking motorcycle.
He's arrogant as hell.
Yeah. He has that
Paul Hollywood type vibe.
I feel like Paul Hollywood seems less ridiculous than this
Gordon
guy.
Ramsay, is that who you're thinking of?
Yeah, Gordon Ramsay, I'll give it that. Yes, absolutely. This is, to me, has just got this like, I'm a chef, I'm a scientist, but I'm from the planet Ryza, and like Ryza sucks, and I'm super smart, but I'm smart and cool and in touch with my base animal instincts or whatever. Anyway, he's talking to Saru and Stamets, and what he wants to do is he's got a mock-up of the controlling mechanism, which is that little red thing in the center of the DMA. He wants to try and build a much smaller miniature version of that to see how it works, which would include making a small wormhole, like the whole thing. What they could do that in a containment field. And so they're thinking about doing that. That sounds like it could be super duper fun. Michael and Book try to break out the prisoners. There are mines that are beetles. What can I say? They're like huge beetles that explode.
With like saws in them.
And they also throw hot circular saws. Yeah, the chain is they're just a weird group of people.
Yeah.
So they're working on that. Meanwhile, Dr. Colbert actually has a brief session with Dr. Kovich.
Yeah. Glasses. Otherwise,
Yes,
otherwise known as
glasses. Basically expressing how he feels like he's maybe lying to his patients about like giving them hope, because it feels like maybe there's not much hope to be had now that they know this thing is artificial. And Kovich basically points out that Colbert may have some sort of savior complex. He's also working himself to the bone. He's not getting any rest. He's becomes obsessed with his work, and then he needs to take some downtime and find a reason to live and get over the fact that he died and came back. And, it's the doctor getting advice from another doctor about what they need to move forward. Michael and Book are able to release the prisoners, but the prisoners, once they're like out of their like containment fields, are like, all right, we're going to book it. Now there's no ships left. There's nothing left, but the prisoners make this stand where they're like, we're not going to go to wherever to like be a part of this evacuation and then have to come back and be prisoners again. So unless Michael can find some way to keep them from suffering this further incarceration, because most of them, like one of them like stole a car basically, another one stole food for their family, but they've been in prison. They're in prison indefinitely as the examples. So it doesn't matter what you did, you wind up in prison forever. Michael is able to offer them asylum under the Federation. Pending a review of their crimes, they would be considered free because they've been held unjustly. And everyone agrees to that except for the one sort of ringleader whose name is Felix, who says that he actually needs to pay for his crimes because he says he killed a person. They attempt to leave the jail. The doors lock down, and they use the explosive beetles to blow the doors up. It's a total romp ride. What can I say? Meanwhile, they're able to make the miniature DMA thing, the MDMA. And they don't have quite the power reserves that they need. And so they have to convince Saru is basically very sketchy about doing this. But Stamets and being egged on by Tarka is sort of saying if they can give them more power, they could learn more about this. This is critical to save billions of lives in the galaxy. Saru agrees to it, but with like a stopgap measure where he can turn the power off if he needs to. And they have to pull extra energy from the deflector array, which Jet Reno has to do. So Jet's in on this. And they managed to get like much more information out of it, but they also need to they keep pumping more power into it until the containment field basically gets down to like 10%. Saru has to override and turn the power off. And Stamets and Tarka basically nearly blew the ship apart, nearly ripped it apart to get this information. But they got some cool information. Michael gets all the prisoners outside of the like weird field that won't allow them to transport out. They've only got minutes left. Everyone beams up except Felix. Felix refuses even to leave now. He says he's going to stay on the planet when it gets destroyed or not, because he chooses to want to, pay for his crimes. It's kind of a weird stand to make, but I guess it was cute. And Book is pretty upset that Michael's not forcing this guy to basically to be rescued. But Michael sort of sees that this guy has his own self-determination and agency. So they take off. Book storms out in a huff. Turns out the anomaly is going to destroy the planet. The guy tells a story of how he killed that person, sort of unintentionally, and killed the father who had a daughter, and also stole these balls that are called Lalogi orbs, which all the people on that planet use to, they like keep your family tree in an electronic sense. So he's always felt bad that he's had this Lalogi orb because it is the history of this person's family, the Doxica family. And so he tells that, and then he dies on the planet. The magistrate storms onto the bridge, demanding that the prisoners go into the ship's brig. Michael basically says his colony is gone. He's no longer the sovereign anything of anything. They're all there under Federation law, and wherever he goes, he's going to end up a refugee, and he should hope to have people be kind and generous with him. Stamets and Culber get ready for bed. They basically both admit that they're working too hard and that they, it's life is tough. They've figured out all these things, but it's difficult to get just their personal lives together. Michael uses Zora, which is the computer's name now, to find Patri Doxica. She also learns that Zora has recently learned how to start feeling emotions. But she gives the ball to Patri, and there's a whole sweet moment where Patri's like, I thought this was lost, and I thank you so much for returning my history to me. And Michael's like, I'm just keeping a promise to a friend. And meanwhile, at the very end, Book is sitting at the bar drinking, being all broody, a broody Book. And Tarka shows up being all loud, Tarka-ish, and offers him some Ryzen whiskey. They commiserate in their sort of unfriendly but friendly in their feelings of like being close to success today, but not close enough, and such that it sticks in their craw. And Tarka is pleased with Book's anger. It feels to me like maybe Tarka's hoping to use that against Book in the near future. But that is the end. Season 4, Episode 5, Star Trek Discovery. The examples.
The examples.
The examples.
I can't do that. I really wish I could. Have that.
Now let's chat about that.
Let's chat.
I say, darling, let's do a quick chat about that.
Yes, let's do.
Yes.
Yes,
indubitably.
let's do. Yes, indubitably. Let's do.
Let's do. What did you want to chat about?
Well, there's so many things. I guess first and foremost, we now know that this anomaly is not natural.
Yes. And
Like
whom?
it's being...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's it. Who's doing it?
Who could do it? It's huge.
My original thought was that it was some kind of emerald chain. Just because I felt like they'd be mad. But now that doesn't make sense. It seems like it's too advanced for Emerald Chain. I did note that Vance mentions that they haven't heard from the Q continuum in 600 years early on in the episode, which is interesting. But he thinks maybe it's not them. This is not their kind of style.
Was that just a red herring, do we think?
I think maybe it's like a little Easter egg for the next season of Picard. I'm willing to bet there's some sort of
Crossover. We do think actually
Uh-huh.
Alex Kurtzman, I don't know why, but there's chatter about there being crossover somewhere.
wow. I don't know how it
Yeah.
would be how they would cross over with 930 years into the future, but
I don't know.
I think we're supposed to when they do like into exposition like that, I feel like are we supposed to make note something happened to the Q continuum that we should then be aware of when we watch Picard?
Possibly, yes.
Next year?
That's true. It's a fair point. But yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very confused as to who. And then at the end, Tarka intimates that he has some idea of who it might be. But who?
Maybe it's someone we're
Ooh.
not even familiar with yet.
I guess it could be.
I mean, that's that could be where it's going. You know, I suppose we have seen. No, we were introduced to the Emerald Chain, and they were, like it dragged out to how sinister they were, but we never really met them.
Right. We met the main chain lady, whose name I can't remember.
Wasn't it? Or no, she was Orion.
Yeah.
I forget.
Dang. Anyway,
We could Google
we
it.
met her. You could Google it.
You want to Google it?
Yeah.
All right.
If you want to know, you can Google that.
Osira.
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 It's like Osiris, but
Ra.
Ra.
Indeed.
Okay, so anyway, Osira dead. So that's not the issue.
Osira died?
Osira not coming back.
I
I
forget.
thought she did.
I thought she just.
Or maybe she went to jail.
Yeah, I thought she went to jail.
She just got incarcerated. I should rewatch that. Things got really weird at the end. People got sucked out of windows.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah, so we don't know who's in charge of who's making this anomalize, but I think we could start thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
The trail. Anyway, I don't know. I'm just spiraling there. What's the deal with Ruon Tarka? Do we hate him or do we hate him? I hate him.
I don't like him.
Yeah.
Book hates him. That little exchange with Book was interesting.
You think they hate each other? Because I think they're actually kind of angry dudes getting along.
I don't know. I didn't get that. I thought at the beginning they were sort of making headway, and then at the end it was like, nah. I actually really struggled to kind of understand that exchange because I don't speak toxic masculine men.
Yeah, but they were drinking. He started drinking his whiskey.
Mm. I thought
Which
he just
makes
did
to
it to
me
be like,
makes-
fuck you. I'll try it.
That's not the vibe I got. I feel like Tarka is going to try to manipulate Book's anger and
That was an
hurt
interesting thing to say,
make
wasn't
him
it?
do, because he's like, yeah, I like your anger. You know.
I don't know. That certainly his exchange with Saru of like scream at me
Yeah.
was interesting.
Sure.
I wasn't sure what the purpose of that was.
Just like that he feels to me, I get a real Joe Rogan-y vibe from that. Like this false sense of like I'm connected to like a primitive spirituality. You know, that you need to get hip to. You got to learn how to express yourself by screaming at people. I'm just not into that. But yeah, that does seem to be the vibe. It seems like he's staying on the ship. Is that going to be the deal? Because he's going to have to help figure out the
guess.
DMA thing. So he's going to
Yeah.
be around. Yeah.
A thought I had that we could chat about is, do you think that so Michael couldn't save Felix, not because she couldn't, she agreed not to, which I think harkened back to Kobayashi Maru, where she was like, there are no, I don't believe in a no-win scenario, and this was, and she allowed it.
Right.
So do we think that she's grown past that?
That's an interesting question. Maybe. I think I never thought there was anything wrong with Michael. I think that was Rillick's crappy interpretation of Michael's behavior. To begin with, I do feel like Michael has made sacrifices when sacrifices needed to be made.
Mm-hmm.
And in this instance, she was like, I'm not going to take this person's right to atone for their sins away from them. Even if, like, I always feel like in these instances where, like, so Book is now mad at Michael because she didn't, punch this guy in the face and then make him transport. Like, what's the point of that?
Mm.
Except that he's, like, going through a lot of stuff right now or whatever. So, I get it. Grown? I think yes, I'm sure Michael is growing all the time. I don't know. That felt like the right call for sure.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Agreed. I was very happy to see Jet again. Our favorite Jet Reno.
Jet was there, dropping Jet gems.
Mm.
And all was great.
Jet's jabs. We'll get into that.
And Book is obviously still very upset, which I think could lead to some serious problems down the line.
Yeah.
Those are my only real takeaways from this episode. It doesn't seem like we got a lot of answers answered. We got a lot of questions questioned, and we met new people. And, Saru did a great job running the ship, being the captain. Oh, yeah, also the ship is alive.
Yeah. Zora has feelings.
Is recently got feelings, yes.
Uh-huh. It's interesting.
Yes, interesting. Also, possibly dangerous.
Mm-hmm. What if Zora just decides she doesn't want to do something and she's like, okay, we're not doing that?
Yeah, a sentient ship that maybe she doesn't want to die.
Yeah, interesting. Lots of things.
Okay, yes. Well, let's move on to quotable moments while I continue to think about that for the rest of the day.
Quotable moments. Lab a good quotable moment. I do.
What have you got?
I liked Culver saying, when he was chatting with Kovic, and he said, do you have a recommendation for that sparkling analysis? Quite amused me.
I also enjoyed that, yes. I also like Kovic saying, this is a uniquely challenging time, yes, but if you don't find fulfillment in something other than work, you will fail those in the chair in front of you. I have a 2:00 goodbye.
Yes, I love that. That was more or less, our time is up.
Uh-huh. We have exactly 10 minutes.
I wished he'd actually said our time is up, but that worked too. Yeah. All of my other quotes are Jet's jabs.
Well, Jet's jab it up.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Jet's jabs.
That's what you get when I do a sound effect.
Very interesting when you punch at the end.
Because it's a jab. You get it? You get me? You
do.
feel me?
I do, I get it. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, I had at the beginning, she said, are you talking to yourself again, or are you looking for some sort of response? It was just a little bit sharp. That is the closest you have come to killing us all, and that's really saying something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not necessarily what she says, it's how she says it. And the other one was, if 1 is nothing to worry about, on a scale of 1 to 10, if 1 is nothing to worry about and 10 is insane, then I'd say, meh, it's a 6.
6 is alarming. I also liked when she said, I can just picture Tilly's face when she finds out that we got sucked into a wormhole 3 days after she left.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Saru says, I miss her too, actually, which is very cute. Yeah, those are, I wrote down this, I have similar jabs. And then my final quote was just the Zora saying, it can be painful to weigh duty against compassion, which is insightful for even not a computer to say. Computer ship? Ship computer?
Ship's computer? Mm-hmm.
So those are our quotable moments. I think we should move on to next time.
Well, I actually had one more thing. A little surprise for you, Aki. I do have a thing.
You kind of spoiled the surprise.
Did I?
Yeah, you said this to me.
Oh, I did, but it was more of a surprise for our patrons, but I'll still
Great.
share this with you.
It will be an extreme surprise for our patrons.
Yes, here we go. So we have, in last week's Netflix watch party, we asked our patrons if they would like a cameo message from anyone. In particular, when last year we had Doug Jones, and he did such a good job, we wanted to hear from him again. So this is Mr. Doug Jones saying, happy holidays.
Incoming transmission.
Well, hello, Set Phasers listeners.
Captain Saru here again, Doug Jones, to wish you the happiest of all holidays. Yes. Well, as you can tell, I'm in a Christmassy mood myself today with my Santa hat and my snowflake sweater. Oh, I do love Christmas. And this whole time of year is so precious and special to remember those that we love and to gather around and take some time off to count our blessings. I hope you're doing all of that, all of you. And thank you from the bottom of my heart for including me into the Star Trek family that was established long before I got here. Now, and mind you, I was born in 1960, so I was around as a fan of the show as a kid when it started, and then the franchise took off from there, of course, over the decades. 55 years later now, and so it would not have been alive all these 55 years had it not been for people just like you who have kept it so. And the show that I'm on, Star Trek Discovery, would also not be a thing if it weren't for you keeping it alive and keeping it well. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for that. And thank you for taking in Saru as you have. I know I've probably said this before a gazillion times, but when establishing a new species and a new character of any sort, but a new species especially, for such a beloved franchise that has such fan ownership and is such a family, this fandom is more of a family than anything I've ever been a part of. And I've been around science fiction, comic books, horror, and fantasy all my 35-year career, but never have I seen such a tight-knit family type feeling as with the Trek family. So when developing a new character for that, it's like, I hope they love me. I hope they take me in. I hope. Because you feel like the long lost cousin that's been living out in the country and you're coming to visit for the first time for the holidays. And will they take me in? Will they include me? I don't know how it's going to go. So you have been so incredibly gracious, taking Saru in, taking me in, and including us in the family now. And I appreciate that more than you could possibly know. More than you could know. Thank you again. Thank you. I hope and pray that all of you are able to celebrate your holiday of choice this year, and that your 2022 will be a new year full of hope, dreams come true, opportunities, and goals fulfilled, all that. Let's pray for that. And also I hope and pray for success to keep finding each one of you on all levels. And that would be personal, professional, relational, if you're in school, whatever it is. If you're doing an artistic project of your own, I just hope and pray it all comes through. And success on all levels, yes. And as always, more important than anything, I pray and hope for love to keep finding each one of you in all of its forms. I'm getting some massive love from me today. And also, thank you, Steve. You can thank Stevie Manns, for this lovely cameo request. That's the sponsor of today's video. So anyway, set phasers to love. Live long and prosper. And as always, love long and prosper. Now more than ever, right? We need that. We need that now more than ever. Hug each other, whether it's cyberly or in person, for me, will you? And set phasers, love you madly. Keep setting those phasers to stunning, okay? Because you all are. Love. Merry Christmas.
End transmission.
Oh, how cute was that?
Very cute. Full on
He's so
cute.
good at those. I love that. All right, well let's move on to next time.
Next time on Set Phasers.
Oh, next time on Set Phasers, it'll be episode 6. Doesn't have a title yet. I don't know what it's going to be. So who can say? But we will be discussing episode 6 of season 4 of Star Trek Discovery. If you like the program that you heard today, thank you for tuning in. We put out new episodes every Monday. You can get them wherever you get your podcasts.
Yep. And if you want to get early access, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/setphasers.
Yes, indeed. We also have social media. Our Instagram is
At Setphasers Podcast.
and our Facebook is
Facebook.com/setphasers.
Boom! Where you can check out some content that mostly is Stevie having to put content together.
I try. Meme game, hashtag meme game strong.
Hashtag Meme Game Strong. Just to reiterate, we do have a Patreon. You can support us by going to setphasers.com, patreon.com/setphasers. We have so many websites now. We have our Patreon, which is patreon.com/setphasers. And you can sign up there to watch the shows live. Like if you want to see right now what I'm doing with my head, you can only do that if you're on Patreon.
And of course, we get to join our watch parties. You get patron shout outs. You get did I say Netflix watch parties?
Not Netflix anymore, but yes.
Yes, you
Watch
get early
parties.
access to the audio episodes and the live stream videos.
Yes. And then we also have our website, setphaserspodcast.com, where you can check out all of our back episodes and also buy a mug with our mugs on it.
Our mugs. Yes. Is that everything?
That's everything.
We covered all of our ground.
I
Okay,
do
well,
believe
until next time, I am Stevie Mans.
And I am, I don't know, late for my 2:00 goodbye. This has been Set Phasers, a highly illogical Star Trek podcast.
Computer. End program.